Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're reacting to episode 17 of season 2 of Vinland Saga. And this was a really hard call to make because I also have to film episode 59 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I've cried at episode 57 and episode 58 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I had to make a decision as to whether I was going to film Vinland Saga first or whether I was going to film Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood first, because I have a feeling that this episode could be incredibly emotional because we have Snake and Thorfinn confronting one another. We have Gardar in the cart who is losing a lot of blood. We have Arnheid desperately trying to achieve the dream of freedom. We have Kettle on his way back. We have Floki and the Vikings somewhere. They haven't arrived yet. So the emotions and the tension is building in Vinland Saga, but the emotions and tension are also building in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I'm like, I either watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and cry, or I watch Vinland Saga and possibly cry because I don't know what's going to be in this episode. So I may not cry, but I know with whatever's going to happen in episode 59, I'm going to cry because I was crying in 57, 58. So I'm probably going to cry in 59. Whereas Vinland Saga, some episodes I cry and some episodes I don't. So I was like, it's a really hard call to make. So we're gonna go with Vinland Saga. This could be the worst mistake I've ever made in my life, and pray that it's not as emotional as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's going to be. But I could have made a horrible call and probably should have watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood first. I'll be able to tell you once I've watched episode 59, but yeah, it was just kind of a toss up between the two because I was like, I might cry at this, but I might also cry at this. So does it really matter which order I watch them in? Very, very nervous because I don't think Arnheid is going to be alive for much longer. There's been too much focus on her and her backstory, which means narrative wise, we're going to get hit with an emotional sucker punch because the only reason they ever build up side characters and give them incredible depth is that when we lose them, it's all the more heart-wrenching. So the fact that the last couple of episodes have been really building on Arnheid and Gardar means they likely are not going to make it to the end of season 2. Either way, we're not going to ramble. We're going to get in because we have the confrontation between Snake and Thorfinn, and I really want to see how this plays out, especially because Thorfinn is now finding himself kind of conflicted. Does he continue this route of pacifism, or does he defend Arnheid and Gardar by using violence against Snake? And he's kind of not quite sure which way to go, but he's in the dagger stance without the daggers, obviously. He's getting words of wisdom from Askeladd, who's like, well, he has a good reason to fight you, but you also have a good reason. And I can completely understand the confliction, but in my mind, pacifism's only good insofar as someone else isn't violent towards you. But in this situation, him being a pacifist isn't going to stop the loss of life. Only action will. And of course, action and violence can be utilized for self-defense without resulting in the loss of life. And I think that's maybe something that Thorfinn's going to come to the realization of. But on this pursuit of becoming a true warrior, is that really something that can ever truly be achieved? Is a question I've been wrestling with because Thor's openly talked about how even he struggled with being a true warrior because even he had to resort to violence in order to defend the people that he loved and cared about. Thorfinn's having to do the same to protect Gardar and Arnheid. Arnheid is someone he cares about. Gardar he doesn't really know, but he wants Arnheid to be happy and he doesn't want her to remain a slave. So of course he's going to try and protect and defend her. But what that means is that he also is having to use violence. So this idea of becoming a true warrior seems to revolve around this idea of complete and utter pacifism, that you never raise your fist to another person, that you never use violence, that you are completely at peace with everyone around you, that you do not ever cause harm to another. But if Thor's is imperfect because he has to use violence to defend those that he loves and cares about. And likewise, Thorfinn is also going to be imperfect in that he is using it in the same way. Can anyone ever truly be a true warrior in a society where there is always going to be someone that means you harm, because you would have to have a world in which war is completely erased, that everyone unconditionally loves the people around them. And that's just unfortunately not something that's ever going to happen. It just seems like this ideal that's almost unobtainable. That maybe Thorfinn could be a true warrior when they set up their own village of outcasts that don't want to conform to this idea that in order to be a man within the society, you have to wage war and take a human life. But even then, if that village was threatened, he would defend it. Can anyone ever truly be a true warrior? Is this an unrealistic goal? Is this just something to aspire to in order to keep yourself on the right path? Almost like an idealism that you know you'll never achieve, but it's something worth pursuing nonetheless because it makes you a better person. That deep down you know you'll never get to that point, but in the pursuit of it, you're becoming a better person. You're building others up. You're helping those in need. So it could just be an idealistic goal, but not something that's ever actually able to be obtained because of humanity in general. Because as much as you want to be a pacifist, that doesn't stop other people from using violence against you. And are you really going to stand there and allow someone to harm you? Probably not. Likewise, you're not going to allow someone to harm those that you love and care about. So it just seems like this lofty goal that maybe is not quite obtainable because the world in which we inhabit is made up of complex individuals and people are driven by greed and lust for power. And that the only way you can really obtain being a true warrior is if everyone adopted the same philosophy as you and war came to an end. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess, as the season progresses. We don't have long left of season 2. Hopefully, we'll get an announcement for season 3 at some point. But without further ado, I'm going to get into episode 17. Oh, God.
今まで戦った誰よりも
Oh.
それにあの剣刀身の反りを使うのか短剣の間合いにも対応してくる
It's a very unusual sword.
丸腰相手にいいこと一つなかったかどんな化け物どもに囲まれてやがった
Too many monsters. Holy shit. Oh, the animation. Stunning. The music. Oh, look at him go. That was close.
強いなんでこんな使い手が農場の用心
They're evenly matched.
これほどの男がなぜ奴隷に
I love that they're admiring each other. Oh! Oh my god, Snake!
けど
Oh!
見える
Holy shit!
ガルザルさんを
Oh, fuck.
ヘビさん
やめてヘビさんガルザルを殺さないで
Oh, she can't bear the thought of losing him.
虫のいいこと言ってんじゃねえぞアルネイズ
ヘビお前の手下たちにはわしができうる限りの弔いをするわしの畑を売ってでも
黙れじじい金の問題じゃねえ確かに俺の手下どももバカでクズの小悪党ばかりだだから死んでも気にしねえってのか
What have you done?
ガルザルにはそんなに生きる価値があんのか 俺の手下5人分よりも。言ってみろ、トルフィン、アル
No,
レイズ。
but death begets more death. Why continue that cycle?
なら
いや、
命の代償は等しく命で払ってもらうぞ。
Oh, Arnheid. She looks so lost. You've just destroyed her dream.
ガルザルの仇を
No, because that would go against who he's become. Revenge doesn't get you anywhere. It just begets more pain and suffering.
アルネイズ、お前らには相応の罰があるだろう。旦那が帰るまでお前らを縛っ
Holy shit! Oh my god! I didn't expect him to still be alive!
それ以上締めたら死んじまう。ガルザル
He's like, you need to let him go.
なんて力だ。
Is she gonna be the one to save Snake's life? She's gonna appeal to Gardar.
ガルザル、帰りましょう。ガルザル、もういいのよ。もう私たちの邪魔をする人はいないの。
Oh god, that's so beautiful.
待っているわ。
あの子は今どこに。
Somewhere where he doesn't know pain or suffering.
ビルカのお兄様の家に預けてあるわ。
Oh, she can't even
戦
tell
になる
him.
前に避難させておいたのよ。
そうだったのか。
She only wants him to know peace in his final moments.
シャルティを引き取りに行くときはお礼を用意しなければ。あんたに信ぜよ、ガルザル。
Oh, the music is stunning.
高いところから失礼する。ご老人、お名前は。
This is the Gardar that he used to be.
行かれよ、そなたの家へ。
The man that Arnheid fell in love
滑
with.
るけれどな。
トルフィンさん、エイナルさんも本当に何とお礼を言っていいか。
ガルザルさんはもう。
いいの。
She knows. Oh, he's going towards the light.
哀れだ。神々から見放された不運な連中。
It's him, isn't it? He doesn't even recognize himself.
そなたは私の新たな誇り。
Oh,
ヒャルティ、ガルザルの子ヒャルティ。父は戦っていこう。お前が誇れる名誉のために。
he was so happy and proud of him. We saw this in episode 1, the tattoos and the forging of weapons, but it was also Gardar that smeared blood on the newborn's face with Arnheid, didn't he? Right at the beginning of season 2. Oh. Look how proud he was. How happy they were.
待て。
Try to be a good dad.
どうしたの？
I talked about this scene in episode 1 about how violence begets more violence and bloodshed. That this is the path they walk down. Oh, Gardar.
名誉と
What was it all worth? Not this.
ヒャルティはもういくつになる。8つか9つか。
6つよ。
どうもいかん。奴隷になってからの年月が曖昧でな。可愛い盛りを見逃してしまった。別れた時はまだ1つだった。私の子だ。きっといたずら者に育っているに違いない。馬の尻尾に火をつけたりな。
Oh my god, this episode has broken me.
そんなことしたの？子供の頃。
ああ、父上にひどく怒られた。
She's still learning about him even now.
になれば、バイキングに行きたいなどというのだろうな。男の子は。
Thorfinn was one of them.
だが、私は許さん。
Because he's breaking the cycle. That his son doesn't have to go through what he went through.
「本当にやるのだな。
ああ、俺たちの腹は決まってる。
わかった。行こう。
He's seen it from her perspective. His
みんなはもう
regrets
広場に集まっててな。
that he'd never gone.
急ごう。
That maybe everything could have been different. He's trying to stop himself because he knows what it leads to. But it's too late.
アルネイス、もう決してそなたたちのそばを離れない。
おかえり。おかえりなさい。ガルさん。
I made a horrible mistake watching this. Ooh. Oh my god. I don't think I said anything for that entire episode. The fact that, like, he gets to reunite with his son after talking about how he's probably forgotten us. He never forgot his parents. And that I'm home. After everything he's been through and suffered, all he's wanted is to be reunited with his family to make up for what he did and to never leave their sides again. He wanted to break the cycle for their son as well when he's talking about how he'll want to go out adventuring because all young boys do, but I won't let him because that's part of what Thorfinn was talking about in previous episodes where, like, it has to be the father to break that cultural significance of striking out and earning honor through achieving wealth, but also through violence because you need to achieve that wealth through acquiring slaves, but also how honor is attached to this idea of taking lives. So the fact that he doesn't want his son to go through that is part of what Thorfinn's saying, is that, like, it has to be broken from father to sons. Fathers need to teach their sons to be better, need to break this cultural significance, and because of everything he's gone through and suffered, he doesn't want his son to ever have to go through that. And the fact that he gets reunited with him in the end. And Arnheid saying welcome home while she gets left behind and she's being surrounded by the bodyguards that are going to take her back into this life that her dream is at an end. But in his final moments, she can give him a glimpse of freedom, that she can grant him that at least. She could keep this illusion that they would get out of here and be free together, that she would be free, but she's not going to be free. She's going to be dragged back and she's lost Gardar, and she's likely not going to have a happy outcome because I imagine Kettle's going to be informed about her attempt to escape and everything, and she's going to be punished for it. Oh, I just broken, just absolutely broken. And the fact that when he's going down the path and all those bodies of him and he says, oh, these poor men forsaken by God, it's him. It's just different versions of him. He's navigating this path towards a distant light. He's traversing this rough road where nothing is smooth, but he keeps pushing forward because there's this hope of something else, that there's something at the end of all this that's worth it. And what's worth it is going home to his son. And I know it's through death that they're reunited, but it's still the fact that, like, this pushing, this perseverance is for something. It's for family, it's for home, it's for atoning for his past that he regrets leaving them. And we got to see the imagery of him seeing himself depart, leaving Arnheid and his son behind, that he's trying to stop himself. He's trying to, like, prevent this from happening because he knows what the outcome is, but he can't because it's too late and he can't forgive himself for that. But he was such a good dad. Like, he was so active in his life. He tried to be there for him. He was present while the men were butchering animals and getting blood on their hands. He was changing nappies. He was a very, like, engaged and active dad. He was there for his son. He was his pride. He adored him. But even in those final moments, Arnheid is still able to learn new things about him, showing that you never stop learning about the people you love, that there's always something. But it's just absolutely heart-wrenching. And the fact that she showed Snake mercy when he wasn't willing to show Gardar or her any. This cycle of revenge just keeps happening. Death begets more death. Snake took the path of revenge and nearly lost his life in the process, if not for Arnheid breaking that cycle of telling Gardar to stop.
Snake likely would have died. She's showing that there is strength and power and forgiveness, that you can find purpose without the use of violence, and just her compassion and kindness to him in like not telling him that their son is dead, that she continues this idea that their son is alive because she doesn't want to hurt him in his final moments. She wants him to know nothing but peace and kindness and this idea of freedom. And then, he's going down this rocky road. It's blue and it's cold and there's no warmth to it. But when he passes into something else, into something warm, into the light, into his home where his son is. He passes into something better. He leaves this cruel world behind and enters into a new world where he gets to be the father that he longed to be, where he doesn't get to miss out on those years anymore. But it's just such beautiful imagery of like the darkness and regret and those final moments of your life flashing before your eyes, all the mistakes that you've made, all those happy moments that you've shared with the people that you love, and this cold that's coming over your body as you're descending into death. But then also this like positive that in death there is still something else, that it's not all doom and gloom. There is peace and warmth and happiness to be found, that he moves on to a better place. That even though he leaves this world to move into the next, he embraces it because this world is more kind than the world he's leaving. The world he's leaving is one that has shown him nothing but pain and suffering, and but now he can finally rest in peace and he can move on reunited with his boy. And yes, they're reunited in death, but still it's this idea that there's something for us beyond death, that it's not the end, that there is the potential for another adventure, another life beyond the hardships that we endure. It's just beautiful. Like, I can't stop crying because it was just absolutely such a stunning episode. And I just didn't expect to like break down throughout all of it. And again, like I said, it was a toss up between this and Full Metal Alchemist as to which one I'd cry at, or if I'd cry at both. But if I don't cry at Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood to the same extent as this, then I'm going to be really embarrassed that I watched this before. Like, oh, just absolutely stunning episode. Stunning episode. It's just all the philosophies in motion of how violence begets more violence, the cycle of revenge, but also the breaking of this cycle, or the desire to break that cycle, because unfortunately he'll never have that chance because his son is dead and he is dying. But it's this willingness, this acceptance that if things had been different, he never would have socialized his son into violence, that he would have protected his son from all of this. But as well as how it all connects to my comments in episode 1 is insane, in that obviously we didn't know it was Gardar and Arnheid in episode 1. It was just imagery at that point, but now we understand the connection. But the fact that it all connects back, and I'd said in the episode 1 where like he's smearing the blood on his son's face, that it's reiterating this socialization of violence, this imagery that, even innocence is tainted by it, because when you're brought into this world, you're socialized into violence being normalized. Like, even a newborn baby's not exempt from this idea of violence and bloodshed and conflict, and that they'll grow up to follow that same path. And here it all comes full circle, him deciding that he wants to break away from it. He doesn't want his son to go down that path, and he's learned from his hardships and his sufferings, but his son's dead, so his son never had to go through that. But if only they'd had another chance, if only they'd had the opportunity to raise their boy. And that's all the regrets that he feels, is that they never got this. If he had never left, if he had stayed, everything might have been different, but it may not have been. We don't know. And that's the sad thing. We'll never know truly how things would have played out if he had stayed. If he hadn't have gone, he could have ended up dying in the attempt to protect Arnheid and their son. We honestly truly don't know, but of course he's going to feel that sense of regret because it's a what if. What if I had stayed? Would things have been different? What if I had never pursued this path of violence in order to get wealth for the village? Would everything have been different? Would my family be safe? Would I have got to see my son grow up? Would I not have had to suffer missing out on his cute years? Of course, in his mind, his son is still alive. His son isn't alive. We know that. He doesn't know that. We will never know how it would have played out. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful episode in terms of the symbolism, the meanings, the music, the animation, the voice acting. Insane. And now that Arnheid's dream has come to an end, she's about to go into a nightmare, I feel, until she's liberated. Honestly am going to lose it if we see Arnheid reunited with Gardar and her son in the afterlife. Ooh, I'm gonna be a wreck. Just putting it out there now. I don't know if I'll be able to cope with that, but I don't know if that's all I have to say, but that's all I can think to say right now because I am too emotionally destroyed by this to like cognitively think any further about what I want to discuss. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.